I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the filthy capitalist option. As Sori says, $125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. $125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at villageXchange@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed.
And I'm supposed to say indeed. Buy merch indeed, a child shall lead them. Go ahead.
We are doing a live stream for the Alliance Sin and Glory, headed up by Christopher Culp. We call him Culpy. He's been represented here in the village for quite some time. That's a version of him as well. That's have him, have Jay.
Yes, half and half.
Yep. Anyway, so that is where we've talked about it before, where the alliances get to influence our song list. And so the next song that is on our list tonight is Black Sabbath, The Mob Rules.
Yes, The
and
Mob
this
Rules.
is because Sin and Glory did it, all of their however it is that Colby comes up with it.
We're about to do this one also with no fear.
Yep, that we're gonna get blocked.
We're not
going to
be afraid. I think we're in good shape. And no, Matthew, I did not have a horned Viking helmet.
Oh.
I get it though. We should probably make this the thumbnail.
Oh, okay.
Let's take a thumbnail picture real quick. Hold on, guys. Let's take a thumbnail picture real quick. Was it Shift 5? Capture in 5
And I don't know why
seconds.
you're doing that. Do you want me to just add horns to us?
No, I want you to do it this way. That way our stalkers can be like, I knew it! Right?
I don't even know what it's for.
Shout out to our stalkers.
Straight up
the
or
thumbnail
curved?
for the live stream. Shout out to all our stalkers. You bitches, do something with your life.
Oh, because we're trying to be devils?
You literally just.
Oh,
why would you
sorry.
put your?
Sorry.
Oh my god.
Because I asked you if we're straight or curved.
Why do you?
Are we trying to be a devil?
Overcomplicate everything.
Because
Just
I'm trying to figure out
put
what
the
we're
horn-
doing.
I'm gonna do that. You do what you will with it, okay? Good lord. All right, there it goes. Okay, so now we can
Change the thumbnail?
We can change the thumbnail with that
Wow.
picture.
I
All right,
thought that was
guys.
this thumbnail. Did you put it up in PicMonkey?
I will soon. Black Sabbath. The name of this song is
The
I believe.
Mob Rules.
Yeah, The Mob Rules.
Yeah, that's what kids try to do in households. They're like the mob. They want to have new. Can we have a later bedtime?
Yeah. Can we talk for 30 minutes? No. The Mob Rules. Let's go.
I'm Jonah.
Okay.
Close the city and tell the people that something's coming to grow.
Literally Jonah.
Death and darkness are rushing forward to take a bite from the world. You've nothing to say. They're breaking away. If you listen to fools, the mob rules.
my man Dio. Let's go, Dio. Listen to Fools, the mob rules. Let's go.
Kill the spirit and you'll be behind. The end is always the same. Play with fire, you burn your fingers and lose your hold on the flame. It's over, it's done. The end has begun. If you listen to fools, the mob rules.
Let's go. Tony Bullock and Io, let's go.
Idiots.
Talk to him, brother minister.
I like that. Honey, what? How long was that? Like 3 minutes? 3.5
Yeah,
minutes?
it was not very long at all.
Under 4 minutes.
Literally 3.5 minutes, like to the
Okay.
dot. 3.16.
Yep.
Yeah, holy smokes.
3.16.
Yeah,
That's
that's
3.25. Right?
I think you're right. Yeah, 3.30 would be 3.5
Right.
minutes.
Yeah.
Good catch. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. You know what this song made me think of? Well, first of all, at the beginning, I thought he said Jonah.
Close the.
It
Jonah?
sounded like Jonah,
Okay.
and then it said close the city. No, not that. It was what he said right before he started this verse. And then it says close the city and tell the people that something's coming to call. I was like, yo, it's literally about Jonah.
Oh.
Because I thought it was him coming to, but it wasn't. Not at all. And okay, so one thing that this song made me think of, whether it's on topic or off topic, doesn't matter because it was what I got from the song. If you listen to Fools, the Mob Rules, and I was thinking, you know, obviously politically, if they're the fools and then how everybody goes along with a fool and then, well, really, you know, it's like with Trump. He was really being a fool in that moment in January. And then the mob took over and look at what happened. People ended up dead.
Yeah.
So there's a
I was watching I was watching this press conference.
Yeah.
I was laughing so hard, bro, but I was trying to keep it down because you were sleeping. But you know, the crazy lady that compared the COVID stuff to the Holocaust.
Oh god.
And Matt Gaetz, the guy who's got those sexual assault things happening in the background or whatever.
Okay.
They lined up and they're like, "We're here to tell you of the conditions of the prisoners of January 6th." So they're explaining normal prison conditions, and they're like, "This is horrible. This is unjust." And then she goes, "But every night at 9:00, they put their hands over their chests and sing the national anthem." And it was clear to me that she had no understanding whatsoever. Because she said that with no irony whatsoever.
Oh
She
my
had
gosh.
no understanding of how this kind of silliness falls on the ears of literally everybody else who does not support those
Right.
people. And
Absolutely.
even people that do support those people.
Yeah.
So what, they should not we've been in, you know what they say when we talk about deplorable prison conditions, they say, well, prison isn't summer camp. You're not supposed to like it. But now their folks are in there, all of a sudden it's the end of the world. Like it's mind-boggling. It was insane to me. And like They said it with zero irony whatsoever.
Wow.
These were the same people 4 years ago, well, 2-3 years ago, when we were talking about kids in cages. Yeah. And they would say things like, well, hey, you shouldn't have broke the law.
Oh, yeah, I know.
You're saying this about kids.
I know.
But then you got grown men and women who went off and committed an act of insurrection and treason, and we're supposed to feel bad for them because they're experiencing normal prison conditions. It's mind-boggling to me, bro.
Unbelievable.
It's absolutely insane. But the first time this happened, I was we're in global studies. We didn't call it social studies in high school. We call it global studies.
Okay.
And there was this kid, and now I realize the kid was probably a Marxist, but our teacher was talking about how democracy is the most superior form of government because it's by the people. Mm-hmm. And he's explaining representative government and how that works in a democratic republic, whatever you want to call it. And the guy goes, Mr. Antisico, isn't democracy just basically mob rule? And I looked at the kid and I said, what the fuck? What's wrong with you, man? Like, don't you want to have a vote? And the kid looked back at me and said, yeah? What do you think the majority vote would have been during the slavery period about you? And I was like, holy shit. He goes, Abraham Lincoln just showed up and imposed himself, and then he started to school us on the 19th Amendment. Those people voted to secede. That was their right. To this day, you go down south.
Wow.
You go down south, a lot of these Confederate flag waving folks, they're mad as hell, and they deserve to be. Because technically, they went through the proper channels to do what they were supposed to do. And Abraham Lincoln said, no, we're still going to come here and fuck you up.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So
very interesting.
It was like it was a real eye-opener to me because, and Tucker used the term mob very, very brilliantly to completely silence the very legitimate issues that people had in 2020. He did a very good job of just characterizing them all as a mob of miscreant, which the British did the exact same thing with the Americans. Mm-hmm. If you look at the documentation back and forth, it was just this unruly mob of unwashed people who've forgotten their mores from Britain and have now become the savages, like the savages that they're around.
Wow.
I mean, that's almost a direct quote from one of their generals. Mm-hmm. So it's like, but it was the first time I really questioned, because I was saying it before we started start everything. Like, I'm a patriot, man. Mm-hmm. Like it's America all the way. I was not born in this country,
right?
But everybody in my family has served this country, in my mind, with distinction. Mm-hmm. And the majority of us are immigrants. But, it was a real eye-opener because I had never even questioned the concept of democracy and how that works with concepts of justice and things of that nature. But, I mean, it really is. But at the same time, I'm like, well, what's the alternative? Because I haven't seen a better alternative to representative democracy. Because what's the answer? Somebody else goes and gets to impose it on everybody else? Go ahead.
Yeah, but there are times like that kid said with slavery, it had to be imposed. Yeah. And I mean, I know how people feel about it, but I keep thinking about the vaccination, and I keep thinking how a lot more people are going to end up dead because everybody doesn't just get immunized. So
you want the government to impose?
No, I don't. I don't want the government to. No, I don't want the government. I want people to be compelled by love in their own hearts to say we need to do this, but people are not at that place.
Right.
People are full of fear, and they're afraid of what will happen if they take it. What does this mean? Is the government tricking us? There's all kinds of these things, and so we're unable to see the facts that are right in front of us. How many people are dying? You just gave the numbers to me last night of how many people died because of AIDS.
700,000 people since 1981 have died of the AIDS epidemic.
How many?
700,000 since 1981. So
right.
This is well before you and I have been born.
Right. And then there's more than that. Was it 728,000?
Yes, mid 2020 to now, we've had 788,000 people die of COVID.
So the numbers, less years, more deaths.
Yeah.
for COVID than there was with AIDS, and we saw how people reacted to the the AIDS epidemic. That people were terrified, and people were ready to do what they needed to do to But here we have this, and everybody's like, "Oh, it's just the common cold."
We didn't have Facebook.
Oh God!
And you didn't have websites like WeKnowTheTruth.org, where completely uncredentialed people could come up with the most ridiculous. And that's the other side of mob rule, where it's like, during the election, we've got a channel, Middle America, and we've got a Facebook portal, Middle America.
Yep.
And we tested this. Anything that was against a Democrat was immediately an establishment Democrat. So Pete Buttigieg, Biden, and Kamala.
Yep.
If you said anything negative about them, Facebook would take it down, and then they would put us on a 30-day basically mini suspension where you had to approve literally every single post as a moderator, which if we didn't have 58,000 moderators, it would have been a death sentence to our channel. Literally every post, even if you wanted to say hello, have a great day, they would block it. And so you would have to approve.
That's really cool that you had enough moderators.
Yeah, we had enough moderators to where we
really
had
cool.
One of them's in here right now.
That's awesome.
So we had enough moderators to where
Melvin.
it really didn't affect us because we didn't let it affect us because the moderators went and did it. But a lot of people were upset about it, especially my friends on the right, because everybody knew I wasn't a fan of Joe Biden at all.
Right.
At all.
Right.
And I said
Neither
it
was
constantly,
I.
and I'll say it again, that Trump was much better for black people than Biden was.
Mm.
So
yeah.
So it was a really crazy thing to behold. But at the same time, I'm not mad at Facebook for doing what they did. Number one, it's their platform. Mm-hmm. YouTube is their platform. It's not my platform. I'm a guest on their platform. I'm a guest on Facebook. It's not my platform.
Right. Yeah.
But simultaneous to that, how would you feel if you genuinely believed that you had a party to electing Hitler or unleashing Hitler in the United States? That's how these people think of Trump.
Yeah.
Whether they're right or wrong, whatever, that's not the purpose of this discussion. All I'm saying is they genuinely believed that Trump was an existential threat to the world. And they genuinely believed Biden was the solution, which makes absolutely no sense because when you talk about fascism, Biden was there with the whole Verizon scandal, where Biden was there during the whole Edward Snowden scandal. He was there. It wasn't a Republican president during that period. It was Biden and those boys. Mm-hmm. Biden was there when Obama was being called the deporter in chief. Biden was there when the cages were being constructed. Mm-hmm. And as we know now, Biden is worse for immigrants and is less tolerable for immigrants than Trump was.
Yep.
So, but aside from that, they truly believed that Trump was an existential threat. Mm-hmm. And they truly believed that they had a hand in getting him elected because of these Russian collusion, Russia. And this broad is still talking about Russia.
Who, Maddow?
Yeah.
Come on. Stop, lady.
So my point is, if you believed that you were a party to getting Hitler elected, you're gonna run interference for that shit the next time. I completely understand that. And people are going crazy. And it's the same thing with Twitter. They got rid of Trump, and people were like, oh, and then Amazon got rid of Amazon wouldn't dedicate their super service to Parler. Man, I get it. I understand. Mm-hmm. And it's so funny because the same people are like, well, let the free market work. When gay people couldn't buy cakes, they're like, well, go to a gay bakery. Okay, so if Amazon shuts down its servers for Parler, go to another one then, since it's that simple. Oh, it's not that simple. But my point is, I understood what they were doing. I don't think they did it for bad motives. It's just social media is the ultimate in mob rule. Mm-hmm. We've never experienced something like this in human history, and I do not believe collectively that we're mature enough to even be able to manage something like social media. And so now you've got people who are completely uncredentialed going up against virologists And people,
That's my issue is
but then
what
you've got
happened.
thousands of people believing it.
Yeah, well, we used to have, like, generationally speaking, there's more and more loss of authority, it seems, over the years. Like,
Yeah.
the way that my grandparents viewed authority, the way that my parents viewed authority, the way that I do, and the way that my children do. Like, it's completely different. Like, our generation of kids is like, question friggin' everything. You know what I mean? Like, absolutely. But at the same time, there's also like bunches of people out there just putting their opinion on. It's weird because they have no authority to be speaking on the topic, but they speak about it like they know. Like,
well, I've got a friend, speaking of Black Hawk Down, that participated in the Battle of the Black Sea.
Yep.
And he recently lost his wife to COVID.
Yeah.
And you see the progression of his Facebook feed.
Yeah.
And it's all this anti-vax, all this craziness. And then his girl gets hit with it.
Yeah.
They both got hit with it. They were both on respirators. He made it out. She didn't. And so you see him with his mask.
I didn't know they both had it.
Yeah. His mom was praying. She's like, please pray for so and so and so and so. And you see him taking pictures with his mask, because, they won't let him see his, you know what I'm saying? And then I know for a fact that he got vaccinated.
Right.
And it's like, and I am so angry at him. I cannot tell you how furious I am at him. They got a 10-year-old daughter.
I can't stop thinking about her.
They got a 10-year-old daughter, and that poor girl was in so much denial. She's like, it's okay, Mom, you're going to be all right, blah, 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 blah.
She said, I know Mom's coming back home.
I know Mom's coming back home. No, she's not. She's dead. So that's my thing. My thing is, if I was in control of Facebook, I wouldn't let any of this crazy anti-vaxxer shit go. No, you're out, bro. You're out. And, like...
I wouldn't either. I would shut stuff down, too.
Look, my thing has always been... Are you credentialed? Anybody can start a website. Are you credentialed? Do you have years and years of demonstrable excellence and expertise in this particular topic? So I was going back and forth with a villager one time about COVID or whatever, because there was more misinformation and disinformation. And now the next thing that these people are saying is more people have died from taking the COVID shot than died of COVID. That's untrue.
Are you kidding me?
It's untrue. My man was saying that shit.
No.
Before his wife died. And so one of them says, hey, I understand where you're coming from. I have a modified view of this that doesn't agree with either one of you. Here's this doctor. Here's his bona fides. The guy was like, what's his face? Bill Gates is like second in command. And I know people have all their crazy theories about Bill Gates, and whether I agree with his agenda or not, I say to myself, okay, this he's an actual doctor. He's been in the practice for 28 years, and he's got the confidence of Bill Gates. Whether Bill Gates is Thanos or not, I don't care. That says to me, okay, I want to hear what this guy has to say. He had a modified view of the vaccinations.
Oh.
And I'm oversimplifying it because this guy's massively brilliant. He had all these things about, dipeptides or whatever. But he was basically saying that for actual immunity or actual herd immunity, it's bad to vaccinate people in the prime of their health, like people like me and you, people that go to the gym, people that, whatever, and, can do exercises in a sauna. You know what I'm saying? Like, he says it's bad to vaccinate those people. And then, because I forgot how he argued it, but he basically, it was a brilliant, it made sense to me, his solution. And he's like, I'm not an anti-vaxxer. Like, all my kids are vaccinated as far as polio, mumps, measles, whatever. But he was like, we shouldn't vaccinate. We should leave those people to natural immunity. So people like me and you. And then he said, the people in the danger zone with the comorbidities, massively overweight, cancer, all those things, those people should be vaccinated. And so those people should have massive, quarantine, isolation, make sure that they don't get sick. But then the rest of them, and it was a thought out perspective from a guy who knew what the hell he was talking about. And it wasn't all this rah extra. And so I modified my position based on what he said. It's the reason that the kids aren't vaccinated right now. So I understood the guy's point. It made a lot of sense, and I modified my position. But what happens is you get Jeffrey from his basement, and he's got this entire, he's got all the...
Why anybody is listening to him is
it's
mind-blowing.
mind-boggling to me.
Like, why? How are you going to just listen to anything that's out there? Why aren't you going to go to credible sources? This doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah.
You've never done this before. Well,
Yeah.
let's ask the 5-year-old what he thinks. I mean, come on. We don't know
Yeah.
anything. We haven't studied this. This hasn't been our expertise. But all of a sudden, we're willing to listen to what somebody who has inferior knowledge on a
Correct.
particular topic. Why are you going to listen to them?
Correct.
It doesn't
Correct.
even make any sense.
Correct. And then there's this, and I'm just going to address it. If you believed you're saved, then what would there be to fear if you believe? There's one time the devil took Jesus up to the top of the temple, and he says, if you're the Son of God, throw yourself down. And then he quoted Psalm 91. The devil actually quoted the Bible. He says, because he'll command your angels concerning you so that your foot won't even touch a stone. Mm-hmm. So the devil says to Jesus, jump off, because the Bible says you're not going to stub your toe. You know how Jesus responded? You shall not put the Lord your God to the test. Mm-hmm. Yahweh is not some circus animal that's supposed to jump through my hoops.
Right.
Yahweh is a father who looks down at humanity and says, I've given you guys wisdom. Go exercise dominion. Mm-hmm. So, God expects us to walk in the world in such a way that blesses people. Mm-hmm. Like the primary mission of the people of God is to bless people on the earth. So I can't say, oh, I'm saved, so I'm not going to be afraid, and then communicate a potentially fatal disease to my unhealthy neighbor.
Yeah.
Okay? So the mission of the people of God is to be a blessing. And from a biblical perspective, life is the ultimate blessing. Mm-hmm. In him was life. So the point is, I'm not going to do something. My issue with COVID, I'm not afraid of COVID. I think I'm a pretty healthy guy.
Yeah.
I think that if you can...
And our family's healthy.
You can do a plank for 2 minutes after 40 minutes in a sauna. You're going to be okay.
In the sauna.
You know how to
like
suffer,
this. Yeah.
right? Like, I'm not... What I'm worried about is, no disrespect to Maine, but Maine is a sedentary state, meaning it's cold most of the year. People are mostly inside and they're not moving around. As such, there's a massive obesity problem in this state, and I don't want to communicate a potentially fatal disease to morbidly obese people who do not stand a chance.
I agree.
Because if you're in the 45, 60 range and you're morbidly obese and you get COVID and you're not vaccinated, you're in a lot of freaking trouble. A lot.
Yeah.
Those people are in more trouble than a 65-year-old.
Yeah.
Statistically speaking, which is very interesting. So it's not about, and this is the other thing. I'm not saying you're saying this, Juan, but this is the other thing. They say, oh, this is all this fear. It's like, no, it's wisdom. You buckle your seatbelt. You lock your doors.
Yeah.
You do wise things. If you went on an African safari, you're not going to jump the gate and go off into the wilderness yourself, because there's lions and leopards and shit, and God gave you a brain, right? So my point is about, but what happens is that these things become memes. The memes get cycled. And instead of people saying that's Jeffrey in his basement, they're going, and then entire movements get birthed out of this shit, and it's literally unfalsifiable.
It's unbelievable.
You'll be like, well, this happened. It
doesn't matter.
It all becomes part of the conspiracy.
Yep.
It's like, holy shit. Like what? It's like, what in the world? Like, I understand, like, for example, 9/11, right? I get it. I understand why a person would have conspiracy theories about 9/11.
Yeah.
It just came out, basically, that our government participated in the assassination of Malcolm X. So, if you completely trust the government, you haven't been paying attention. However, that does not mean that you trust WeKnowTheTruth.org.
Oh, my word.
And, with all that stuff either. Shout out to Goffman, by the way. That doesn't mean that you then swing the other way and believe every psychopath down there. You know what I'm saying? So, like, this song is like almost prophetic, for God's sake. But shout out to
oh
Tony.
My gosh, that's true. It's 1981.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Shout out to Tony Iommi for killing shit on guitar.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the guy, I don't know what else to say.
I thought this verse was interesting. Break the circle and stop the movement. The wheel is thrown to the ground. Just remember, it might start rolling and take you right back around.
Yeah.
So we always have to be on guard for that sort of thing. How, these silly ideas that lead people into making all these decisions that are affecting so many of us. And like you said, anytime that we block out, why we've come a long way too.
Hold on, JF. That's not true. Ivermectin is not a one-day cure for all people. Please stop saying that. That's warning number 1. Here's this. Let's do this. JF, don't comment on COVID unless you have an actual document to refer to. If you want to talk about the Illuminati and all this stuff, man, that's fine. But unless you have actual documentation that states that ivermectin is a one-day cure for everybody, please note that I didn't say it was horse dewormer. I didn't say that. So let's not go there. But if you believe that, get me a credentialed virologist who agrees with that statement. If you can't, then please don't say those things. And if you do it again, you're out. And you won't be able to complain and say that you're a victim or you're a martyr for the truth, because I gave you an opportunity to change everybody's mind by showing us actual credentialed people who agree with that statement.
Right.
Okay. So, yeah, the mob rules. It's both sides. There's mobs on both sides.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
In our country,
yep.
Unfortunately.
Yep.
It's the same thing with the Rittenhouse situation. There's a complete mob of people.
Yeah.
Who, I'm like, do you have eyes? They wanted to penalize the kid for not dying that night. It's ridiculous. Yeah, I asked the black guy, I said, okay, so if a mob of white dudes are running around chasing an 18-year-old boy, a 17-year-old boy saying, we're going to kill you, nigger. And the kid turns around and says, listen, I've got I got the thing on me. Mm-hmm. Leave me alone. And they still say, fuck you, we're going to kill you, nigger. And he turns around and puts him on the ground. You want that guy in jail forever?
No.
Stop it.
Yeah.
But it's, again, this mob rule. And then you got people like LeBron James.
Yep.
Who knows how much influence he has. Talking about it's crocodile tears and all the rest of it, or talking about that other cop and saying you're gonna be next and all this shit. What the fuck do you mean, LeBron? He's gonna be next. So what if some psychopath saw your tweet, LeBron,
right,
and went off and blasted that cop who did nothing wrong? Who by the way, this is the cop who the girl had the knife and she was going after the other girl, and so the cop put her down before she could kill, and right before she went after the girl, she said, I'm going to kill you, bitch.
Yeah, jeez.
The girl literally said, I'm going to kill you, bitch. Brandished a knife and went after the girl. And the cop put her down. Mm-hmm. Which is exactly what LeBron would want to happen if somebody was going after his kids. I don't care if white, yellow, red, purple, Martian, American, Indonesian, whatever. You would want that, LeBron. And you'd want a cop to do that for your kid. But here you are on Twitter talking about you're next.
Which player was it that went and stood out by the bus stop because he was going to go fight somebody?
Carmelo.
Oh,
Carmelo. Kevin Garnett was talking that shit.
That's right.
And Carmelo's from where I'm from.
Right.
So Carmelo was like, I'll see you, nigga. But like, again, it's this mob rules thing, right? And nobody, if that cop would have been killed, nobody in LeBron's mob would have held him accountable. Just like Trump's mob. They'll never hold him accountable.
Yep.
Never.
Right.
They won't hold him accountable for January 6th. To this day, I say, look, the Republican governor of Virginia was calling Trump while the insurrection was happening. The Republican governor of Virginia was saying, please let us send the National Guard. He didn't get a response for an hour and a half. Why are none of you talking about that?
Right.
See, none of these mobs want to hold their leaders accountable. They won't do it. I asked one of these people, I said, so let me get this straight. If this was Barack Obama and it was a bunch of brown people yelling Allahu Akbar, and Obama wouldn't pick up the phone for an hour and a half, you'd let that slide? Answer the question. He refused to answer the question. So none of these mobs are going to hold their mob bosses accountable. But they can see it clearly when it's the mob boss on the other side.
Yeah.
But when it's their side, they can't see it or they refuse to see it. The guy just said, I'm not going to answer that question. Because we know.
Yep.
We know what would happen.
Exactly.
We know. So anyway,
Wow.
prophetic song, really, really, really,
Unbelievable.
really good song. I loved it.
I love the sound of it too. It's a 9.8 for me.
I'm gonna have to give this a 10 because of its societal relevance at this
Shoot.
point.
Okay, I can bump it. I'll bump it to a 10.
Really, really good. So shout out to
You're
everybody.
right, the
Shout out to
societal
everybody.
relevance.
Shout out to JF. Shout out to everybody trying to make it through. I get it, y'all. Trust me. I get it. But look, if we just say to ourselves, let's focus on telling the truth the best that we possibly can, and let's focus on being the most informed that we possibly can.
Yep.
We can make it out.
Yep.
But what we cannot do is depend on LeBron or Trump or whatever to lead us through. We've got to apply some real raw grassroots democracy, because anybody who's major in the media right now has failed us. Either A, because they're fucking crazy like LeBron or Trump, or B, they're too afraid.
Yep.
Because they don't want their side to turn against them, because they know their
Yep.
side will turn against them.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
there's that. And Seven said it. That's true about the Virginia governor calling for the National Guard. And Pelosi was warned January 5th and didn't boost up Capitol Police forces. Yeah, Pelosi's not the commander in chief, right? Mm-hmm. Trump's the commander in chief, so I'm going to hold him singularly accountable for that. But I'm with you. I get you for sure. Okay. Having said that, dear listener, we still got more metal on the way for you, beautiful people. Vin out.
Sorry out.
Gone.